love the channel and find it useful in becoming a happy retiree. Subscribe today. Mark, who joins us
Wes.
today. Mark, good morning. Welcome to Money Matters. As we continue to go to the phone lines, what's going on? How can I help?
Okay, two points. First of all, I'm a big fan of your book. I love your book. I'm rereading it. I'd love you to give some points of what you would change in recommendations today versus 2014. And I have a second thing. I want to follow up the guy from Lilburn who talked about the fixed index annuities. Vanguard has a variable annuity with a guaranteed lifetime withdrawal benefit for retirees, basically best for people in their 60s or older.
Got it, 65 plus.
Right. There is no surrender fee. No surrender fee.
Got it. So Mark, that's a very, very different, a Vanguard variable annuity, totally different concept than a fixed index annuity. These fixed index annuities are produced and distributed by insurance companies, not investment companies. And they are products that will give you some sort of tie to really whatever index. It could be S&P 500, could be the NASDAQ, could be, I've seen it tied to the Goldman Sachs commodity index. So there are tons of ways to tie it to something. The problem with an index annuity is that the way they cap their monthly amounts are very punitive when it comes to really having a real rate of return. I've seen families come in that have had a fixed index annuity for a decade, and they've ended up with a 1% annualized rate of return, even though the market's up 100%. I've seen that over and over and over again. The way the formula works for the insurance company, they're not actually investing in the S&P 500. They're just tying your returns to that, so that they effectively just have to credit you whatever the formula says, even though what they're really doing the money is just sitting in some sort of bond account. So remember, the difference between equity markets and bonds, very, very different. If bonds are up 20% over a decade and equities are up 150%, there's no way they can just credit you 150% or even half that. So what happens with these products is they're very misleading. They make you think that they're, hey, you know what sounds like a really good deal? I'm going to get half the market upside with zero down. That's how people perceive these equity fixed annuities. They perceive that, oh, that sounds like a good deal. Up about half, and half is, half of 10, long-term return is about 5, but then zero downside. That's how folks perceive these investments, and that's very misleading and very wrong. A variable annuity with a lifetime benefit works in a very different way. These lifetime benefits on variable annuities are typically will give you a guaranteed rate of income off of what very often is a fictitious amount. You've got your actual cash, and then you have what's called a hypothetical basket of money. And variable annuity lifetime benefits are typically based off your fictitious bucket of money. So that's a whole different conversation from what you were asking about with index, or what the caller earlier was asking about when it came to index annuities. To answer your first question, has anything changed from the book? The fundamentals in the book about money and happiness are still the exact same fundamentals 3 years ago as they are today. Retirees, I see, and even more so today, as I've met with more and more families over the years since the book was published, since that research that we did was published. I'd reiterate it even more so. And I maybe wasn't even emphatic enough at how important all those 5 steps were in the book. Do you have enough core pursuits? What are we using our money for? It doesn't matter if it's golf or tennis or hiking or biking or traveling or cycling or grandkids. It doesn't matter what that is. It's just important that you have those core pursuits. The retirees that have 2 or less tend to land in the unhappy camp. There is certainly a discussion around the withdrawal rate. Rates have stayed ultra low in the world. And I think that as I'm thinking about doing an update of the new book, your rate of withdrawal, I think there needs to be even a more in-depth conversation about your rate of withdrawal, particularly when you're a really early retiree. One thing I found post-book was the fact that, in my mind, when I originally wrote the book, I thought 65 in America is still if you're able to stop working and still have the same standard of living, same lifestyle, same income for the most part, you're in a pretty rarefied territory. So to retire early, it's even more rare to be able to do that. So in my book, 62, that's early. 60 to 62, super early retiree. What I've found over the years now is that folks, more and more families have come to me over time that are in their late 50s. They're maybe even in their mid 50s, and they're ready to pull the trigger on not working. In the next version of You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think, what I will talk more about are the folks that are dipping even younger into the retirement continuum, and instead of pulling the trigger at 62, they're saying, hey, I'm 58 and now I'm ready to stop working. There'll be a greater discussion, Mark, about that retirement gray zone, meaning that, I want to get people to be able to retire as early as possible. Often the solution is some sort of part-time work, some sort of part-time income. Maybe it's hobby income. Maybe it's a second career where you change something completely from a big corporation. Maybe it's your own franchise. Maybe it's some sort of income where it might only be a few $1,000s a month, but it prevents you from having to dip into your own investment capital for a couple of years. And that's really important for very early retirees. And I'm going to write and emphasize that even more in the next version of You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think. I'm not even sure what kind of title it should be. It might very well be You Can Retire Even Sooner Than You Think. If you have thoughts about that, I'd love to hear what you would. In fact, I hadn't thought about this until this call with Mark. If you have ideas about what you'd like to see in an updated version of You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think, or you haven't even read it yet, and you think to yourself, well, that might make some sense for me and my spouse and our family as we prepare in the next year or so for stopping our main career. Maybe we transition into a new career. I'd love to hear your ideas. So again, you can always go to wesmoss.com, WESMOSS.com. Upper right-hand corner, there's a contact button. Those emails come straight to me and the Money Matters team. And I'm happy to take your comments, questions as we start working on a new updated version of You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think. Maybe retire sooner, even sooner than you think. Hi, I'm Wes Moss, and thanks for taking a minute to hear about what's so different about my new book, You Can Retire Sooner Than You Think. So unlike other retirement books, this book will give you a step-by-step guide, whether you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, to learn from what these successful and happy retirees did to get there. I hope you enjoy the book, but more importantly, I know that it'll help you retire sooner than you think.